Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, with my co-host, Corbin, and today, it's quite a different day, that's for sure.
Yeah, very different day from our typical content.
We're just going to be talking about the current state of the market because obviously, as we all know, if you are an investor into crypto, it is a bloodbath out there.
It is. But with blood in the streets comes many, many opportunities.
Lots of opportunities, way too many. More or less, I'm just upset that I don't have more cash on the sidelines ready for this opportunity.
I had zero cash on the side. That's the, yeah, can I get enough in the chat for that?
Big F. Anyways, there's a lot happening in this market. And there's a lot that we kind of need to recap about and just analyze more or less as a whole. And we need to just basically give ourselves a better understanding of what's going on and why this is all happening.
Yeah.
And obviously, as we were able to see in the past, that we had the Luna crash, and that had a major downfall with the market, but that wasn't the only factor. Now we are starting to see things about Celsius, and just the whole entire world economy is just not stable at all. And I mean, we've kind of really recognized this. I mean, as in the past, we've seen just nonetheless nonstop printing of the dollar. And the dollar is, or was, more or less the world currency. And everybody around the world used that. And it's just, if you're going to nonstop print it off, it's not going to be stable down the road.
No,
There's no longevity to it.
Yeah, because inflation is inevitable. It continues to be a monetary phenomenon.
Yeah. Yeah. So Celsius, I mean, Corbin, can you just give us like a recap of kind of what went wrong with that whole situation?
Yeah, so essentially there was a lot of shady behind the scenes things going on with Celsius.
Yep.
That wasn't super public. You could find stuff about it, but it wasn't like mainstream news. This is the big stuff going on.
Under the rug before they pulled the rug. Yeah,
they didn't necessarily rug, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, they didn't rug because they didn't, I mean, they haven't really like sold off anything. They've just halted trading and have prevented people from being able to utilize their assets.
Yeah.
And that's more or less a rug in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't want to declare them guilty until they've been proven so.
Yeah,
so they've halted it, but they haven't said that they've gone bankrupt, and they haven't done a Mount Gox where they said, well, we don't have any money.
You're right.
See ya.
Yeah, true. That's what Luna did.
So, well, I mean, that was a whole different situation. That was the bad side of DeFi.
Yeah,
sadly,
that was a stablecoin that crashed immensely.
Yeah,
resulted in much more crashing.
Yes, yeah, it was like a domino effect in the market. But I think the main thing that happened with Celsius is they just had a liquidity crisis.
Sure.
And they had a couple different things that actually happened to them. There's a very good CoinDesk article about this that mentioned that in June 2021 they had a lot of Ethereum in Stakehound, which allows you to stake your Ethereum, essentially. And they said that they had misplaced the private keys for over 38,000 ETH.
Oh. That's too much. That's millions of dollars. Just misplaced.
So much money.
Hidden.
So much money. And what's even crazier, too, is that Celsius lost at least 35,000 of it. And all it left them with was a now worthless token that you get from Stakehound, which at the time was worth money. But like after that happens, you ain't coming back from that.
You're not recovering that easy.
Nah, you ain't coming back from that. And then on June 10th, Celsius had some staked Ether, more obviously staking stuff.
Yes.
And then it depegged, and then just a whole bunch of other stuff that they didn't really disclose to the public, and people had to do some digging on the blockchain, which is one of the actual beauties of the blockchain is people can see.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. People can see on the back end that like, hey, they're not being really transparent about this.
And that goes with everything. I mean, you're basically able to track where every single transaction were to ever go through the blockchain. It's obviously some scribble of a address that you're tracking, but you're able to find out exactly which exchange it's going to and just where it's exactly moving. And then you can also locate the IP addresses and all that extra nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. So like if somebody scams and people know about it, like that can be public information, that if like maybe somebody had rugged an NFT project, for instance, that wallet address can be not necessarily blacklisted, but it can be put out there that, hey, this wallet address, you know, is activated by this account. And like you can see the chain of where that came from to eventually a host wallet where more than likely the scammer was initially operating from.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, with that specifically, you're able to just find out about where all of the token is being stored and then go on with all your information from there.
Yeah.
See, just basically watch it like a bloodhound, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It really helps. The transparencies.
Everything's really selling off very hard and very fastly because of, I mean, Luna and Celsius are two major factors. And I guarantee, without a doubt, we're going to be seeing a lot more than just those two things crashing very, very hard.
Tether still has not gone back to $1
in months.
They've just recently taken out $1 trillion. Was it $1 trillion? It was a really high amount of Tether out of the market.
Wow.
So
it's being unpegged from the dollar. If you're able to use any stable coin, make sure that you use USDC.
Not financial advice, obviously.
Yes,
but
that is going to be your best option.
Yeah. USDC has a very strong backing. BlackRock has a lot of equity in it. A lot of equity in USDC.
Yep. And it's also backed by United States dollar itself.
Yeah. There's actual physical, tangible dollars behind it. It's not just random
imagination.
It's not just Evergrande.
Yeah.
And hopes and dreams backing it.
And I mean, also, there's so much more besides just that. I mean, this is kind of bouncing off of it, but like, as we all see on major news sources, the economy is not stable.
No.
Interest rates continue to peak, and the dollar just continues to lose value.
Yeah.
And everything continues to rise in price.
Yeah. Well, the Fed needs to take out the bazooka already and just give us like a whole percentage point or 100 basis point rise. But they're not. They keep tiptoeing around the issue.
Yeah.
Because it looks bad on them.
Of course. I mean, it's going to look even worse if they continue just to tiptoe about it all. And then it just spans out for years on end.
Yeah.
And then we just go into an even worse recession than we could potentially be facing already.
Yes, but here's the thing. I think they're playing this as a purely political move. Because if they stop the recession from happening before the next presidential election or until the elections that we're going to be seeing later this year, this is for the states, obviously.
Yeah.
But if they are potentially able to like kind of keep putting it, like stuffing the skeleton in the closet, even though it keeps like flopping out and like and like the Dow just keeps doing this when the skeleton comes out.
Yeah.
And Jerome's just like in the back like get back in the closet. Trying to make sure that the whole economy doesn't collapse because it's gonna be a whirlwind for them.
It's gonna be a whirlwind once they say we're actually in a recession.
Well, yeah.
Because they're not saying anything about that.
Why would they?
It's just, I mean,
it's like Michael Saylor telling you to buy Bitcoin at $69,000.
Yeah. You have a point. They don't want us to win.
No. Well, they want you to pump their bags.
Yeah.
Too. So
you have a point. You have great points.
Yeah. So we have that, and then we also still have the ongoing war in Ukraine, which is not helping things at all.
And it's so sad to see that just continuing to spike and continue to be going on. And
yeah, it's
my heart goes out to everybody in facing that.
Absolutely. Same.
It's sad because like. By now, personally, I personally thought Russia would have just given up.
We were all hoping Russia would have given up by now.
Stubborn.
Yeah. I mean, then again, this is Russia we're talking about. Nonetheless, it would have been nice to see them like calm the hell down. They've already gotten, I think, was it somewhere between a quarter and a half, which I guess would be a third.
Yeah.
Which would be about a third of Ukraine, unfortunately. So would have been nice if they would have just been like, okay, we got a third. Calling it there. Stopped all this junk, but we are.
not stopping until they actually.
No, I don't think they will.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And that's going to help nothing. Like, I don't understand any of it, because them gaining access to Ukraine and basically overruling Ukraine is not going to help anything in the world's economy.
It's all about power, Tate.
Yeah.
Ukraine has a major port in it. They have a lot of the world's wheat supply. They have a lot of oil reserves. It's a resource and power play.
It's probably more or less the oil. They want to take over all the oil, because like I feel like if they're going to overtake the whole entire, like, yes, they might have a very large wheat supply, but I feel like them overtaking the country is going to diminish a majority of that wheat supply because of them going through the lands and destroying crops and all of that.
Potentially, but who's to say they can't rebuild it? This isn't another Chernobyl situation where
you're
it's
right.
just
I mean, majority of Russia is like inhabitable.
Yeah.
Where they're not able to do anything besides obviously mine oil.
Sure.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's just so
it's not good.
And it's not going to, I mean, nobody else is, I mean, not nobody, but a lot of people, majority aren't supporting Russia in this.
No. And why would they? They have no reason to, unless they're an ally with them, such as China or India or Brazil, any of the BRICS nations.
Yeah. But nonetheless, that has a major factor in why everything is going red.
Yeah.
Freaking squeaking. Anyways. I get this question all the time, and it's all these people now in this bearish market. How should I invest my money? How should I go about investing every dollar that I have into crypto? I mean, not every dollar, but how should I go about investing the money that I want to spend into crypto? And what I like telling people the most, I mean, there's 3 ways of going about it. Obviously, you can buy now. But what I would recommend is to obviously dollar cost average with small portions of your bag throughout this whole entire bearish trend. Yep. Because there's a very, very big possibility of us going a lot lower than we are now. And I mean, obviously, we're sitting at a couple of different support ranges and stuff like that if you know anything about technical analysis. But we can always break those levels to another crazy event that's happened, these last
another
2
black
events.
Swan.
Yeah, exactly. And you have that. You can either sell your bags now and wait for that dip to happen, but who knows? We might go on a utility run and that dip never even occurs with the tokens that you hold, obviously. It really just depends on what you're holding in this moment.
Yeah.
And I mean, everything that we've talked about in the past has bright futures.
Yeah.
And it could just pop off. You never know when some of these tokens that we've talked about could just pop off, break out of the market cycle, and just go on their utility runs that we've always just explained to you guys in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, and then obviously the third option is if you're not even looking to buy, just sell your bags and hold off until that you feel as if the time is right.
Yeah. Maybe throw some money into silver or gold or something if you want to put your money into something.
Yeah.
Yeah. My advice to people would be right now is where you need to do the most work. And that's what Bearable Bull says too, and I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
Because right now is the time where you need to be in the books, you need to be in the docs, researching.
Yeah.
Just reading, watching videos, just like trying to gain as much knowledge as you possibly can, because that's going to ultimately help you form strategies that could potentially aid you in your rise to the top, so to speak.
The 1%.
The 1%, exactly. Into becoming the elusive whale.
Because we're literally almost have 20,000 cryptocurrencies out there. It's going to be, I mean, it is, but it isn't. People make it harder than it seems to invest into the right tokens.
Yep.
And I mean, like, these prices we're at now, in my personal opinion, are beautiful times to be buying your tokens and buying up your bags and accumulating each and every token that you think is best.
Not financial advice. Of
course. But I recommend sticking to no more than 5 tokens, because unless you're sitting here rocking with $1 million, you should not be diversifying into more.
I would say 10,000.
No, I think if you have $10,000 to work with, still only diversify with 5 tokens.
Well,
because yes, there is a lot out there with a lot of potential, but if you're just throwing all your eggs, say if you had $10,000, threw $1,000 into 10 different tokens, your ROI might not be as great as an ROI investing in 5 tokens.
Sure. Yeah, well, I see your point. And I guess there's 2 sides to that coin, because I'm in the camp of, well, if you throw $1,000 into 10 different tokens that you firmly believe are going to do something and are actually, that have good backings and are, good, arguably good tokens, right?
Yes. Yeah.
If you have $1,000 in each of them and one of them goes on a run, your ROI, yes, is going to be lower than if, it was one of the 5 that you picked. What if it wasn't one of the ones you picked at all?
Of course.
And it goes on a run.
Yeah.
So then you're going to watch this thing go to the moon.
10x, 20x, 30x.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can pull that out and then throw those into the other 9 tokens that you now have until you start to slowly push the pool together until, got some money, to say the least.
You have a great point. And I mean, it is a great way of executing things. I just stick to the hand.
Totally fair. Yeah, because that also keeps you focused.
Yeah.
Having 5 tokens will keep you basically
engaged in every single investment. Because I mean, if you have 10 investments and you have to basically watch over each and every single investment that you've made, I mean, yes, you can be confident with the choice, but like there's going to be news that comes out and pops up at it. And I mean, nobody knew that Luna was going to crash. Nobody knew that Celsius was going to crash. And with those things, like you kind of got to be really aware and understanding of what you're investing into.
Yep.
And keep an eye on the market, the news, and the information that's being provided on basically a daily basis.
Sure.
And so the more tokens you have to overwatch, the more time you're going to have to give to those tokens.
Yeah.
And
it's time management.
Yeah, of course.
So how much time do you have to put into it? If you don't have a lot of time, do less tokens.
Yeah. Definitely.
Good rule of thumb.
Yeah. I mean, with 20,000 tokens out there, though.
A lot of options.
I'm just curious to the person who's invested into that token that just began.
Like the super fresh ones.
The token that just was created.
The Bitmart tokens.
Exactly. Like who's willing to throw money into these things that obviously probably has some sort of utility, but like it's barely even been on the market. I mean, that's probably where they get their eagerness to invest into it, because it could bring a great ROI very quickly. But like
with a small investment, too. That's where the fun comes. It's like investing in penny stocks.
It's like investing into X Elon token or something like that, like SafeMoon.
Well, yeah, clearly, if it's a meme token or if it has something that like is a big red flag to you, like promising, over 50% ROI on something, then like, that's a no-go. But if you see something that actually is like a genuinely cool project, and it's like, why not throw something in there?
Of course, $100 wouldn't kill you. Depends on what you're working with.
Exactly.
But nonetheless, stick with what you know and make sure to not listen to other people's. I mean, you can digest other people's opinions, but make sure you do your own research before you even consider their opinion. Because at the end of the day, Bob Shmurda could be telling you to invest all your money into SafeMoon because tomorrow it's going to moon. And then you invest all your money into SafeMoon, and tomorrow comes around and it doesn't moon, and then you're like, what the heck, man?
Wait, Logic told people to invest into SafeMoon?
No. His name is Bob Shmurda?
It's Bobby.
I said
Shmurda.
Bob.
I'm pretty...
It's probably... You're right. My gosh. Well, anyways, I was not talking about Logic.
No.
But, yeah, just
Final Days is out, by the way.
Random hobo could just be telling you to invest in some token that he believes in, but, like, at the end of the day, you invest into it, you might not make a return at all.
Yeah. Plus, the other thing, too, is are you going to paper hands it?
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what you're invested in, you see number go down,
Are you going to sacrifice that loss? Or are you going to hold through to see the rise?
Exactly.
I sure have paper hand my XRP and every other token I've held. So
paper hand your XRP?
I haven't sold.
Yeah. Yeah, that means you're not a paper hand. Diamonds, baby.
You're right.
Diamonds.
You're right.
Diamonds are forever. Kanye reference.
Talking about XRP, this XRP lawsuit, is soon coming to an end, it seems.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, there's a lot of news out there that's kind of like bringing justice to the space and being really cracking down on the SEC from what we've seen in the past. Judge Netburn starting to really realize what's going on and what's going wrong with the case. I mean, what do you think about it?
I mean, I think that the case has obviously gone on for way too long. Everybody already knows this. And, you know, people have kept saying, oh, it's going to end soon. It's going to end soon. It's going to end soon.
I said it was going to end at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I said it was going to end my birthday last year. That's July of last year. I was like, oh, we're going to $10. Dude, just wait. Just wait, guys. Just wait. Nothing's happening.
I mean, at this point, like, the SEC has been grasping at such few straws that it's basically essentially the meme of like the SWAT guys with like the door thing to put the door in, and there's the little Cheeto like as the door lock. It's essentially the SEC's defense here.
Yeah.
Or the SEC's argument here.
Of course. It's not strong or structured at all.
No, not in the slightest.
And if you personally invest in XRP during this whole entire lawsuit and you've been through the thick and thin with it, a great way of going about strategizing the end of the lawsuit is one, to continue to dollar cost average. Continue to buy that bag up, because if you know XRP and you know the company Ripple behind XRP, we all know that it's gonna
do something.
It's gonna do something. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
But continue to dollar cost average. And hey, maybe look into buying some NFTs on the XRPL, because XLS20D is being voted on by all of the operating nodes. No, it's not the nodes.
The validators.
The validator nodes.
Yeah.
On the XRPL right now, and there's about 35 of them, and they all, if once we hit 28 voting yes towards XLS20, that's obviously the standard that NFTs will be based off of. Right now, they're based off of XLS14D, but there's just not a lot of
infrastructure
or utility backing it.
No, not at all. It's very primitive.
Yeah. And so once XLS20D comes out, that's basically just going to open up the whole entire market to all the utility needed and infrastructure as well.
Yeah.
But hey, my biggest thing is you buy some of these blue chip NFT projects on the XRPL. Obviously, you're using your XRP to buy the NFT projects, but NFTs are in a bearish market right now, as we both know. And could be making XRP off of your XRP.
Yeah. So are you talking about the renting mechanic with junk?
I mean, that is a factor. But what I'm saying is you buy an NFT right now at, say, 100 XRP.
Sure.
Buy 1,000 XRP worth of it, that gives you 10 NFTs. If that NFT is to go to 1,000 XRP, you 10x your bag. So your 1,000 XRP invested is going to now be 10,000 XRP. And who knows what the price of XRP will be at once it's at 10,000 XRP that you potentially sell for.
Yeah. I guess the flip side to that too would also be it's totally possible, because now that I think about it, because I'm thinking about like most Ethereum transactions, like in terms of NFTs, are usually smaller, like ETH transactions. So, under 10, maybe 100.
And that's thousands of dollars. Crazy.
And it is thousands of dollars. But my brain was going in a different direction with that. Yeah. So never mind. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Like, look, man, I just work here. Okay.
I just think it's insane, because obviously, ETH 2.0 will come out eventually. Hopefully they can fix their gas fees and all that.
Yeah.
All that goes into that.
Yeah. There very well could be a cascading effect that is in the works for altcoins.
And migration.
The migration, but the thing is, Bitcoin doesn't have to be like the end all be all for what determines the rest of the market. Yeah. Right. So are we going to see Tether implode? Probably. Sad fact.
I wouldn't say it's a sad fact. I think it's the new revolution.
Well, yeah, it's finally the cleanse, so to speak.
Of course.
We got all of this McDonald's in our space here. So
all we need is a kombucha.
Yeah, all we need is like a couple things of kombucha.
Clear the gut. Yep.
Oof. But yeah, anyway, so we're gonna have ETH 2.0 launching.
Yes.
Hopefully, it's not delayed again for the 5 millionth time. Flare launching. That's going to be another big factor too. So not only do we have the XRP lawsuit potentially coming to an end within the next few months, we're not even going to speculate a time frame on that because it's a waste of time.
Yeah,
might as well save our breath, right? So we have the Flare launch, which I think is going to maybe give a small bump to a lot of different tokens because people want to be able to stake them and earn F assets back from it and Flare token and all that stuff for those people who want to actually participate in it.
Of course. So
you have that Ethereum, and then once Ethereum 2.0 launches, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to the market as a whole. This is a whole new paradigm. This is not something that 2017 saw.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see if once ETH 2.0 comes out and that price starts doing its thing, if that's going to start bringing the rest of the alts with it as people start to realize Bitcoin's not
everything that it seems to be.
Yeah, because that's what everybody's super focused on right now. Is everybody is so focused on
Bitcoin's
the dailies
price movement
and the 1 minute of Bitcoin just
depleting
plummeting
away
into the ground.
Yeah,
that people need to look at the bigger picture.
There's a lot more utility out there than just a store value.
Yeah, and it's
digital
not
gold.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not even necessarily a long-term thing either. So like long-term, obviously everybody's bearish. Or sorry, bullish.
Yeah, of course.
Long-term, everybody's bullish. But like in the super short term right now and in the next few months, everybody's super bearish because, the market's tanking. All the hedge funds are starting to pull their money out of all kinds of different stocks.
The world's economy is just not stable.
It's
therefore, nothing's going to be stable.
It's looking bad, yeah. But with all of these new developments in the space, who says that it has to still be bad?
Yeah.
Because if even if the Fed keeps raising interest rates, why is that going to stop the cryptocurrency space from being able to be good?
To
thrive, exactly. Yeah. And what if, the other thought too is, what if the crypto market, like there are a lot of smart people in the crypto space.
The smartest of people in the world are in the crypto space.
Exactly, right? So what if everybody already saw the Fed sort of just like tiptoeing around the basis point issue and seeing that inflation's going to keep going up and seeing that all the stocks are going to keep plummeting, and crypto is plummeting right now as a preliminary before stocks start doing it? Because right now, crypto is still a speculative sort of space until we start getting, true adoption.
It's just a digital asset. It's nothing more, nothing less at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, once utility is implemented and obviously regulatory clarity comes to the space, and I personally believe I don't think this has happened yet. I think we've gotten close to it, but I don't think it's happened yet. I think once something can overturn Bitcoin as the #1 spot, this whole entire market is going to change for the complete better. Because Bitcoin won't rule the price movement of everything else.
Bitcoin and Tether.
Yeah, I mean,
because Tether hasn't printed forever, and we see what that's doing to the market.
Yeah, it's bringing it down. Yeah, I think once either ETH, XRP, who knows, maybe even Binance USD or Binance Coin itself could overturn Bitcoin, take that #1 spot. My two big ones are just Ethereum or XRP at this moment in time, just to overturn it, because those two, I mean, Ethereum's obviously held that #2 spot for the longest amount of time, but little do you know, I mean, XRP has been in that #2 spot in the past, in the years prior, and so it has potential to grab that liquidity and grab that market cap to be able to overturn something that high of a market cap. Because Bitcoin's price right now is about 45% of the market's power.
Crazy to think about.
Yeah, damn near 50%.
Yeah, that one coin has all of that power.
And it's because of all the early investors, more or less. And then the hedge funds and all of that extra liquidity that comes to the world. I mean, El Salvador creating its own digital currency as Bitcoin's contender. But it's just, I mean, there's so much that goes into all of this.
Yeah.
And I mean, personally speaking, utility is going to kick in. And once it kicks in, we're going to see the true value of all the currencies out there that truly deserve it.
Yeah, we have the new ISO standard 20022 launching.
Up there, but yeah,
you get the point.
Go back to our last videos. I mean, you'll see majority of the tokens that we've talked about that are ISO 200.
Yep.
Standard approved.
Yep.
I mean, that's just a standard. They're not like stamped on them like this is ISO 20022.
But the fact that they're already prepped for that is immense
and
for adoption.
Guaranteed of approval.
Yeah. Well, plus also too, if you look at what the Digital Pound Foundation is, who the Digital Pound Foundation is partnered with, Ripple and Quant. That's major as well. Just to see what all of these major countries, CBDC projects are partnered with.
All the smart countries besides the blind United States.
Well, actually, the FedNow service that is essentially the digital asset wing of the Fed right now.
Yeah.
They actually delayed the. I don't know if they were in a testing phase with it or what's going on with it, but they just announced a delay with it into next year. They were supposed to have like a really big announcement at the end of the year, which aligns with the ISO. Launch.
Yeah.
But they ended up delaying it into next year for whatever reason. So it was the year after. It was a little bit of time. I'll find the article.
I just think the United States is just so far back upon adoption of crypto. I feel like majority of every other country out there knows the true value behind crypto, like specifically Europe. I mean, obviously Europe's not a country, it's a continent, but like majority of the countries inside of Europe itself understand where crypto is going and how they're going to adopt it in these next 3 to 5 years.
Asia Pacific region all day long. Absolutely them too.
Yeah. And it's just like, why are we so far back? And
because we don't have term limits.
Well, it's that.
We've got all these people in their like 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s that don't understand it.
It's because we drive on the other side of the road as them. That's why.
Lobbying on behalf of banks and institutions.
Gosh. It's just, I feel like we're just blindsided to the reality of what's to come. I mean, the SEC, that's where it starts out at. I mean, they're making all the regulatory clarities for this whole entire space, and obviously the government is starting, like the United States government above the SEC is just starting to realize
like Congress and
these idiots are messing up our adoption.
Yep.
And they're messing up the potential that we have to do something greater than great and greater than anything that's ever been before.
Yep.
And I hope they just get ahead, they just regain their senses and come to the conclusion of we need to change this and we need to change it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But leading into that, where do you think crypto is headed to close off the year? I mean, obviously we've stated the adoption of all these different utilities for obviously ETH, Flare, XRP, and the ISO 20022 standard. And that's a big, all of those together are very big factors of where we will be going potentially to the end of the year.
If there are no more delays, here's what I foresee happening. None of this is financial advice. This is just me as a moron guessing, right? So if there are no delays, I think ETH is going to overtake Bitcoin.
Okay.
Easily.
Yeah.
All day long. Like I don't see a reason why it shouldn't.
Sure.
The thing that I think is going to be the most interesting is if/when Tether implodes, what is it going to suck the most liquidity out of?
I think Bitcoin.
That's why I was thinking too.
Because I think Tether is, I mean, like we just stated, Bitcoin's almost 50% power of the whole entire market. There's 20,000 tokens out there. Bitcoin is valued more than like 19,999.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And Tether is probably the only thing that's been stabilizing its price for so long. And that's why, like you said, Tether stopped printing. Therefore, oh my gosh, everything's connecting now. I hope everything's connecting to everybody on the other side of that screen as well.
Yep.
Because like, it just makes all the sense.
Yeah.
Yes, I think Ethereum will overtake Bitcoin, especially once Tether implodes.
Yeah, because then that liquidity's got to go somewhere. Because obviously people who actually physically hold Tether, if that goes to zero, sorry, you should buy the USDC. But anyway, all that liquidity has to go somewhere. Some of it's going to leave the market, obviously.
A good amount of it will probably leave the market because of fear.
Yeah, true.
There's going to be a lot of, I mean, there already is so much fear out in the market.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's sad because it's pushing people away, but I mean, technology is much more advanced, so people have a lot more like information at their feet now compared to the early 2000s and 2008 when the stock market crashed back then. And I mean, the dot-com boom and all that, people just weren't really aware of what was going on.
We're in the dot-com boom right now.
Yeah.
100% we are in the dot-com boom.
It's just a new generation of dot-com.
But with currency.
Yeah. The money boom.
Think about.
Yeah. And I mean, like, people just have so much more information at them now. Like, at their feet, where it's like...
Crypto Twitter.
Well, that, but like, false information and true information. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot more false propaganda out there trying to mislead you and to have you ape in and to invest into these different tokens and look at the market in complete different perspectives than you should actually be looking at it like.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's more to this market rather than just Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And that's all people hear about nowadays. If you're 50, 60 years old, you are not, like, 50, sorry, I don't want to just...
You don't want to profile.
Exactly. If you're, sorry, not even 50, 60. If you're, like, above the age of 70 plus, you have no idea of crypto at all, the only thing you probably ever heard about is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And that's all you know. You don't know what it does. You don't know who's behind it. You don't know anything about it. And that's kind of also what happened to me recently. So I had to go back to northern Florida for my aunt's like funeral and stuff. And I got to reconnect with some of my old family members.
Sure.
And one of my old family members is my uncle. And he's a very smart guy. He's big into tech and stuff, but he knows nothing about crypto. And all he really knows about is like Bitcoin, and he really doesn't even know about Bitcoin at that. And he was just asking me, because like he knows I do my podcast and stuff like that, and he's just like, so tell me about it. Like, what is crypto and what is it providing? And I just basically went on a big rant with him and gave him a better understanding of like utility and what some of these cryptocurrencies are actually trying to go after.
Yep.
Because there's more to it than just a store of value. We're trying to hit the banks. We're trying to hit the businesses. We're trying to hit the peer-to-peer transactions.
All of the money.
Yes. All the money and the derivative market. I mean, there's so much more out there than just obviously all of the money. Like, you have
metaverse stuff.
Yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
Crypto is trying to take over everything. No. Like you've said in the past, you will own nothing and you will be happy. More or less that.
Yeah. Because everything's going to be digital.
Yeah. You're not going to have, I mean, you're going to have a phone, of course, because it's all going to be on that. But like...
Cars.
Yeah.
Great example is cars.
Yeah. And it's just like, once we're able to inform the people that need to be informed and the people who actually have a lot more money than some of these people already investing into crypto, everything's going to be changed.
Yeah.
There's so many people out there, like elders, who are just uninformed and they don't really, they're basically, I mean, a lot of people are relying on their social securities to help them retire. Yeah. If they can just get an understanding of, you know, this beautiful token called XRP, that'd set them up very nicely for their retirement.
I'm sure it will. Yeah.
Anyways, that was kind of a big rant for no reason. But
But yeah, that's also why it's important for there to be watchdogs in the space.
Yeah.
To like siphon out the dumb BS. Kind of like Irate in the HBAR NFT space. He's like, I can't think of any other examples, but like Chris is awesome at that. He's just like, huh, that thing that you're trying to sell there, it's crap.
It's a security.
No, not even. Just like, we need more people that are really good at reading between the lines and reading through the BS.
Yeah.
And that, I think, also will help ultimately determine what those winner and loser currencies are going to be after Tether collapses, regulation starts coming in and starts, you know, really setting up the market to flourish.
Have you heard of this one thing? This one group of guys? You haven't?
What group of guys?
All Kings?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they're really sourcing out the BS.
Yeah, they sound like a bunch of losers.
Alt Kings?
Nah,
Who
for
would
real,
name
though.
themselves that? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's more or less just about finding right from wrong and making sure that the information that you're retaining is the right information.
Yeah.
Yes, we do provide it, but if you don't want to listen to us, there's many other great people out there.
CoinDesk and CoinMarketCap all have amazing articles
On all the
daily
tokens.
news articles about everything going on.
Yeah.
I have yet to read like some like BS article from these guys, so I don't know who's curating it or like, you know, all their writers and stuff, but like I think they do a good job.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, I agree. And then there's obviously influencers out there like the Bearable Bull, BitBoy Crypto, Kevin Cage,
Yeah.
Crypto Mason. He's a great guy. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other guys out there as well, like Digital Perspective, stuff of that. I mean, there's great. Crypto's a great community, but you have to find the right people in the community because there's always going to be snakes in the grass. Kind of to cap things off, some cryptos to keep an eye on that are on my personal watch list at this moment in time. I'm definitely keeping a big eye on XRP, HBAR, XDC, Quant. They're 4. I mean, as we discussed before, I really only like to keep it to 5 and no more than 5.
Sure.
But I really don't have to keep an eye on Helium because I just mine that.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. But my 5th one would more or less have to be probably... No, I'm not a big fan of XLM, so I don't really like speaking upon that. But I'd have to say my 5th token would probably have to be either Origin Trail or...
No love for my homie Cedon.
Cedon is a great token. I mean, I did have some money into it.
Did you sell?
I think it was, I mean, it's gone down 50%.
No, it's literally right back to where it was, bro.
Yes. I did sell the do some.
Hey, did you take an L?
No, I didn't take an L. I sold right where I had it to test my luck in some things.
Sure.
But because I'm just trying to stack cash. That's all I'm really trying to do right now is stack cash so I can get bigger bags down the long run.
True.
I mean, there's many ways of doing that.
Yeah.
But probably my 5th token right now is probably Origin Trail. I mean, Cedon is another one on my watch list, but I'm very like hesitant of that 5th token. My 4 right now is XRP, XGC, HBAR.
Well, with the amount of capital that we're working with too.
Yeah.
Really no point in like spreading it out that thin.
Of course. And what's on your watch list right now? Probably the same.
Yeah. So there's a lot of same on that. XRP, XDC, Quant. Big one for me is Songbird. It's gonna be really interesting to see what Songbird does as we get closer to July 4th. Flare recently announced that they had a successful audit. So that was like the big thing holding it up and why the last delay happened was because they wanted to make sure. I think they're really trying to make sure this thing is literally as 100% as it possibly can be. Because with the backing of Ripple and like the fact that it's such a giant, like you don't want to mess that up.
Of course. No, I mean I'm not going to say they've messed it up in the past, but like they've prolonged it so they don't mess it up.
Their communication's terrible.
That too.
Yeah. They really can work on their communication. It would be nice. But yeah.
I'm going through my I mean Cardano is a good token as well, but I'm not Constellation, DAG. We haven't done a video on that. And DAG is a very strong token as well. I mean, there's so many great tokens out there to invest in, but like I'm not that guy to go out. It's very hard to time the market to where like you're able to identify one that's going to pump before another.
Yeah.
And then be able to diversify your bags into those other tokens.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you can do is arbitrage, which is very risky. I don't recommend people do it, but like if you pay attention to stuff long enough and you see rises and dips in the market in particular currencies. So like for instance, what I did recently is I bought a ton of HBAR NFTs, as everyone knows at this point.
Filthy amount of HBAR NFTs.
Yeah, so I bought a ton of HBAR NFTs when XRP was really strong against HBAR. Because when XRP would rise, it would in a day, like if we're on like maybe like a mini bull run, XRP would go up like between like 5-ish and like 7-ish cents a day, whereas HBAR would gain like a penny or 2 pennies, like nothing crazy, right? Yeah. So because it kept gaining strength against it, I kept investing into the HBAR NFTs because when we are eventually going to have a downturn, like now, HBAR is actually stronger against XRP than it was a couple months or especially a year ago. So by doing that, and I mean, essentially the HBAR NFTs space, like the values have pretty much stayed the same, if not appreciated because of newer gens coming out and people being nostalgic for stuff. I guess, I don't know. But either the prices have risen or they've stayed the same for a majority of.
You're basically just saying become an NFT degen in the short term to potentially flip your money into those.
Yeah, it's
diversify.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's worthwhile to think of little strategies that might work better for you, because you obviously can't pay attention to everything at once. But if you start paying attention to the little strategies that you might be able to potentially do, it could benefit you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's HBAR, there's Solana, there's obviously ETH.
Is there Solana?
There is, but there isn't. Yeah, but there's a lot of opportunity out there. Stack your cash, dollar cost average, and you will thank us 3 to 5 years from now. Not even financial advice either. Yeah, of course, never financial advice.
Or maybe stack some precious metals if you're feeling saucy about the
I like my digital assets, never my hard ones.
Fair, but you can still buy.
Make sure to get your hardware wallets.
Get your coins.
You're seeing what's Celsius. That can happen with anybody.
Could happen with Nexo.
Could happen with Coinbase.
Literally could happen with Coinbase. It could happen with any exchange.
If Coinbase was to go bankrupt, this is where we're going to end off. If Coinbase was to go bankrupt, they can steal all of your money in the exchanges. We're ending it there. This has been the Alt Kings podcast. I normally would take off my headphones at this moment in time, and we will see you next episode. How
did I finally get it in one episode, and then I miss it again.
That was great.